If you are a creator, a designer, a writer, or an entrepreneur, you have probably noticed something strange happening to your feed lately. Everything online is starting to look, sound, and feel exactly the same. We have access to more global inspiration than any generation in human history. Yet truly original ideas feels rarer than ever. The truth is that digital platforms used to find inspirations are actually secretly killing your creativity. The tools meant to expand your mind have engineered a creative trap, turning your brain into a copy paste machine. Today, we are breaking down the psychological forces causing this artistic stagnation and the exact three step anti algorithm system required to completely reclaim your original voice. Let's get into it. To solve this problem, we first have to understand why it happens. In psychology and media literacy, this environment is known as the echo chamber. Think of shouting inside a cave. You project a sound and you hear your own voice bounce back to you over and over again. Digital network operates on that exact same loop. Instead of asking what is true or what is original, the platform optimizes for a single metric: what keeps you scrolling. If you interact with one specific aesthetic, design style, or business philosophy, the platform assumes you want more of it. It isn't trying to educate you or expand your artistic boundaries, it is trying to maximize your attention. Over time, your digital feed convinces you that everyone agrees on how a product should look, how a video should be edited, or how a business should be run. This triggers a cognitive bias known as the false consensus effect. Your feed becomes your entire reality, and your unique creative voice slowly dries up. So, how do you break the loop? You implement a deliberate three step creative system. The first step to reclaim your creative sanity runs completely against standard online advice. It is a protocol called the attention shield. Think of your mind as a processing factory. If you feed a factory identical raw materials every single day, it is mathematically impossible for that factory to manufacture a unique product. Your output is entirely dependent on your input. Consider the reality of building a brand today. When starting a project, if the first move is to browse a niche feed, the subconscious immediately internalizes those existing templates. When sitting down to sketch or write an original concept, the hands end up tracing exact replicas of what peers are posting. The platform successfully hijacks your personal taste. The radical fix for this is a complete input fasting period. By deliberately cutting off the immediate visual noise of an industry, the brain is supposed to look inward. It falls back on its own unique archives, personal memories, and distinct quirks. Perform an attention audit today. Go through your following list. If an account creates content in your exact field or niche, mute or unfollow them. This isn't done out of malice or competition, it is done to guard your input so your output stays pure. Clearing your digital feed creates a blank state, but it raises an obvious question. Where do you actually find fresh ideas if you are in looking at your industry? That brings us to the out of network rule, a highly effective principle used in elite design studios state. Unless you are drawing inspiration from an entirely unrelated century, medium, or industry, do not present a digital mood board. If you are designing modern apparel, you should be banned from looking at apparel feeds. Instead, force your brain to look at structural blueprints of mid century architecture, the texture of deep sea biology, or classical woodwork. This completely breaks the cycle of confirmation bias. When browsing trending content within a niche, the brain seeks safety in numbers, thinking this aesthetic has millions of views, so it must be good. Implement a strict analog first block. When starting a new project, keep your phone in an entirely separate room for the first 60 minutes. Your initial concept must come from physical books, real world observations, or raw experimentation before digital templates have the chance to correct them. Once original ideas are flowing, you hit the final algorithmic roadblock. How do you actually share your work without losing your identity to the metric chase? You use a system called the authenticity pivot. Most creators fall into an expensive emotional trap. They believe that to stand out online, their final presentation must be completely flawless, highly polished, and visually perfect. They spend weeks producing clinical, pristine showcases. But here is the irony: the internet is already completely saturated with clinical perfection. Artificial intelligence can generate flawless imagery in 3 seconds. High budget marketing team can polish content to perfection. If you try to compete purely on aesthetic perfection, you are fighting a losing battle. Instead, the individual who build deep, unbreakable consumer trust do something entirely different. They document the mess. They turn the camera around and share the raw, unedited behind the scene process. They show the failed draft that ruined prototypes and the exact mistakes they made along the way. This completely bypasses the echo chamber because your specific struggle is the one asset a competitor or an algorithm can never replicate. Perfection is a commodity, raw human process is a premium asset. Shift your mindset from creating content to documenting your reality. Stop waiting for the flawless end product to post. Film a raw clip of a mistake made today, explain how it was resolved, and share that instead. Intellectual and creative maturity isn't about being flawless or always having the answers. It's about having the humility to step away from the digital feed, protect your attention, and trust your own perspective. An echo chamber doesn't just tell you what to think, it gradually shapes what information you ever encounter. The best defense is to actively step outside of it. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next deep dive.